Welcome to Alpha Wolf Capital. I'm Tim, and I want to personally thank you for stopping by. This channel is designed to help small companies, both public and private, gain exposure with potential consumers, investors, even partners. Take, for example, today's guest, co-CEO Lenny Sokolow from SKYX Platforms. Just as electricity is a standard in every home and building, SKYX Platforms' mission is to make homes and buildings become safe, advanced, and smart as a new standard. SKYX has a series of highly disruptive, advanced, safe, smart platform technologies, which, with over 90 global patents and patent pending applications. Additionally, the company owns over 60 lighting, home and decor websites for both retail and commercial segments. Their technologies place an emphasis on high quality, ease of use, while significantly enhancing both safety and lifestyle in homes and buildings. But I'm going to let Lenny tell you more about that in just a moment. This is not to be taken as investment advice. I am not a certified financial planner. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own due diligence. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Capital coming at you with this is a company that it's like my favorite company that I think is going to change not just one industry but many industries. And I've got the co-CEO Lenny Sokolow here from SKYX Platforms. Ticker symbol is SKYX, and it's awesome because I want to get different perspectives on why. Look, there's some top-notch talent over at SKYX Platforms. And I think the burning question that everybody should have is why? Lenny, thanks for coming in, man.
My pleasure.
So listen, if you can, just give everybody a little snapshot about your background, you know, where your pedigree, where you come from.
Sure, sure. By profession, I actually was originally an international tax lawyer and a CPA. I got, besides a law degree, a LLM in tax from NYU. That's a graduate degree after law school. And I did the international, I ended up really enjoying corporate and securities, and came back to Miami where I was born and practiced for about 8 years and doing a lot of international outbound, international joint ventures, et cetera. And really enjoyed, I had always enjoyed business. So after practicing for around 8 years, I joined one of my clients that was a public company on NASDAQ to become a C-suite executive, and as general counsel and EVP doing business development. And we had about 1 million square feet in southern China, and we were in the consumer products, made small electrical products and other things, selling to big box stores. So I have a broad experience and technology as well as in the consumer products. So I don't think I ever told you, Tim, how I met Ronnie and what was the light bulb for me, no pun intended. So a good friend of mine who was an early investor in SKYX said, you got to meet this guy, Rani Kohen. And this was over almost 13 years ago. And I met Ronnie. This is before there was only one basic patent. There was no electrical code provisions. And I met him in my conference room, and it was the basic plug and receptacle. And he had this thing. Now, I looked at it and I go, this is the most brilliant thing I've seen. Now, why did I think that? Well, and I didn't tell this to Ronnie then, but when I was EVP and general counsel of Windmere, we went through as making hair dryers. We competed against Conair, GE, Sunbeam, and that industry had a tremendous. I had all these outside lawyers I hired because all these companies like ours were getting sued by people dropping their hair dryers into their sinks, their bathtubs. They're getting burned. They're wrapping the cord around the hair dryer, and we got sued all over. And the industry really had a problem. And I was also on the board of another NASDAQ company that was in a lighting business as lights, chandeliers, and they had a lot of issues with fires, et cetera. And I went through in the late 80s a mandatory phase where the government, the NEC, the National Electrical Code, made us put at the end of all the hair dryers a GFCI plug. Yeah. Now I went through having to license it. They gave the industry 18 months or 24 months, and we put it on. As you go today to your department store or Walmart, you buy a hair dryer, what do you see at the end of the line cord is that GFCI reset button. And it saved lives. And when I met Ronnie 13 years ago, I saw a little twinkle in his eye about mandatory. I'm probably one of the few guys that know that could happen. So I actually stalked Ronnie. I kept following him. I go, this is so intriguing. And, he's got investors and he's such an interesting guy. And I'm very conservative. And I stalked him. I really followed him. I got to know him and I learned who's on his board. And ultimately I invested and I went on the board, where I've been on the board with, one of our lead directors, Governor Tom Ridge, two-time governor of Pennsylvania and first director of Homeland Security, which was just one example of the many unbelievable people he's got around him. So that was like the beginning. And the other thing was that I had, through one of my investment bankers at the time, they found him money, and he turned it down. Ronnie turned it down, and I go, I like this guy even more. So anyway, because I appreciate things like that, and so that was like the beginning of how I came across this and the evolution, and all I could say is that what got me intrigued was that I found Ronnie to be a visionary, because that takes vision. And he's so extraordinary as a businessman and understands, for an inventor, he understands inventing, but he understands business and marketing as much as he does inventing. So it's a very unusual combination where you have entrepreneurs like that kind of know all those areas and are very extremely capable, if not exceptional, which Ronnie is exceptional in. So it's he has a very creative mind of continuing to make things happen, and he always would under promise and over deliver. It was constant, and it was like a little bit of a sport for him. Oh, Lenny, did I tell you I got this patent on the? I go, oh my God, it's like it's just that's. I don't know if he did it on purpose or that's just his nature, but it was just always a great surprise.
I'll tell you straight up. When I met with Ronnie the very first time, I saw what he had. As soon as I saw it, it was like, oh my God, this thing
right.
is huge, right? And I tried to ask him questions, and I couldn't get a word in, right? And if it would have been any other company, I probably would have walked and never looked back, right? But then I got to know Ronnie, and you want to talk about a guy that, he's not just visionary, he is also a methodical, he looks at every single
thing. He didn't let you talk because he knew your questions. Yes. He really knew your questions already.
He knew he was going to answer my question if I just let him finish, right? Don't interrupt.
Exactly.
Just let me finish.
Exactly.
I'll answer every question you have.
Right. Right. So what do I see now? Right. I see a company. I call it. We've got a moat of patents. A moat. So we've got this castle. and we got those water around it, and it's filled with 97 patents and patents pending. And we've, which is US, Europe, India, China. And so we've got this moat. And then over these years, what the deliverables have been, right, is we've got 10 code provisions in the National Electrical Code for the plug and receptacle, which are our patents. So the standard that the National Electrical Code, which is the overseers is the National Fire Protection Association. They're the ones that have approved this in the code, and it's our patent. So it's unbelievable when you think about it. Number one, in terms of the defensive and the value of that portfolio, the unbelievable value, and then you've got this idea that ultimately it'll be mandatory, right? Which what we're talking about is the basic plug and receptacle, not all the smart patents that we have that go to either side of it. Those are still would be ours. But once it's mandatory, we license it on a non-discriminatory basis for fair royalty. Could be 4 or 5%. Do that all day long. But what we want to do is, this is a product, when I looked at this, that will be, I believe, ubiquitous, right? There's been no development of the ceiling. It's so disruptive and so simple that ultimately it's like, it's a no-brainer kind of thing. But you're trying to train the industry, and we're doing it, to get it right. So when I see on Instagram our SKYX, where our followers are growing exponentially, and there's housewives and husbands that are taking a package and they're assembling this light fixture in the ceiling. It's unbelievable. And so, it's really that moat of patents and that those code provisions is so unique. Who has that, right? And GE, that's one of our licensing partners. We've signed a 5-year agreement where they're going to go out to third parties that we want to do and license our technology and to third parties even before this will be mandatory. And they have a global experience in licensing and creating global standards. But we're the first guys that they had where we were just where we don't cannibalize anyone on the ceiling. So we don't have to take someone out to put our product in. We'll just go right on top of that guy that makes the junction box. So we're not cannibalizing anyone. And two is they've created global standards, but we're already a standard in electrical code. So they got a very easy path. And they're not doing this, and our partners, because they believe it's not going to be they believe it's going to be significant, right? And so it's just again, the idea of mandatory is icing on the cake, but our model works even before it being mandatory. Our model is exhibiting the validation that it's working before mandatory. That's just icing. And once we're mandatory, the other thing that really attracted me is we're in 20 to 30 countries, and that's the global play. And we'll license that too. We don't want to have an Apple store in every country. We're just going to be licensing to all the big partners. So that makes a lot of sense for us. And and at the end of the day, we're truly saving lives. I mean, how many companies could say that?
You know what? I mean, if you think it's not just, I mean, that's huge. That is the number one thing for me is the safety, but the efficiency. I'm telling you, when people use this thing one time, that's it, man. You're never going back. You never go back because it is amazing. I have put in, I don't know how many ceiling fans in my life. I just replaced all the ceiling fans in my house. It took me to do 3 of them, actually. It took me half of a Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's because you get the wobble. I mean, there's all these issues, right? I was changing out the ceiling fans and I kept laughing. I kept smiling because I'm saying to myself, Ronnie is going to be stinking rich. I mean, he
Hmm.
is going to be so rich because this sucks. Having to change out a ceiling fan or a light fixture, the
Right,
way it's done now is a project. When you put up that receptacle and all you have to do is push a button on the side of the thing, walk up the ladder, put it in the hole, and let it go.
right.
I'm done.
So we're making it safe for you, less risk of fires, and you're not on a ladder a long time holding the device, the electrical, piece of equipment, the light, the fan on your shoulder. The ladder time itself is a safety factor, and
Absolutely.
we are finishing a lot of studies on this. No one's gonna refute the fact. It's obvious, but we've got actually some very intelligent people that have, they certainly agree scientifically. We all know it intuitively. We all know it. Everyone I know knows somebody who fell off a ladder.
Absolutely.
Everyone I know, and it's a
Yep.
dangerous thing. And the ladder companies don't like the danger of it. It's a big issue for them. So we at the end of the day, to find something that truly saves lives, saves property, no fires. And the reason why we have the NEC behind us is that their own numbers show that there's hundreds of fires a year caused by people who put in just from electrical wiring in the ceiling for a light fixture. Because you don't put them in well, it could work for a couple of years. It could start sparking. It starts to catch on fire. It smokes. People may be asleep and they die. This is their numbers. And that doesn't include, ladder falls, electric shock. When you go to the hospital and you fall off a ladder, they don't say, well, what were you installing? There's no statistics on that. So, it really is exciting, from that perspective, the fact that we've got a very, very positive mission for humankind, really, to make it easy for them.
Absolutely. Humankind. Positive impact on humanity without a question, right? So
Right.
you bring up GE and GE, I remember Ronnie telling me that GE likened the receptacle to the socket for the
Yeah,
light.
the Edison base. Yeah, the Edison base.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. So if you think about that, I mean, because they used to hardwire the lights into the ceiling or into the wall, right?
Right.
And lights didn't take off until you made it so that anybody could screw in a light,
Right. And this was
right?
deja vu for the GE and their guys, and the very, very much so. And so and what will follow, and we know because we've had discussions with the insurance industry, is that once we have a full line out, because it's safer, because it reduces fire, risk of fire. We'll have, let's call without elaborating more, we'll have support from the insurance industry, similar to how they support your home alarm. Oh, we have a home alarm insured. Maybe we'll provide a discount for your policy. So once that occurs, and they know that they can make a building or a home safe, safety comes first. The insurance industry may be even more critical, more impactful than the having the mandatory approval of the NEC. So, we've got a lot of parallel pieces of strength in this thing. And
Lenny,
then
let me
we,
ask you, can I ask
go
you a
ahead.
question? With the
Sure.
insurance agencies, I mean, just the home builders themselves, right? Or commercial builder to leave, have a plastic cap up there that has raw wires underneath it, right? I mean, that's the way it's done now, right? You
Yeah.
got you either got a light fixture or a ceiling fan, or you have a plastic cap and wires underneath that you can attach something to, right?
Right.
What we're talking about here is not having that plastic cap. You have a receptacle. So there are no raw wires for anybody to touch at all.
And to hide the plug, we have a tiny little cap that goes in there. You could paint the whole thing to match the ceiling if you don't want to put a fixture in there yet.
Right.
So it's a very elegant elegance. So according to one of our analysts from a very good investment banking firm, research analyst, it's probably the most elegant thing he's seen. And I agree. It's very elegant. It makes so much sense. So from that perspective, you're right. And then when they want to light it up or whatever they want to click in there, they can, or they could change their mind in 3 years. You're talking about a maintenance person being able to do that, right? So you're not bringing an electrician, and the electrical union has supported this. This is not a big business for them, putting up ceiling fans and yeah, maybe the electrician makes a few bucks, but they make money, doing commercial grounding and wiring a home, right? So what's even more exciting too is our total addressable market, right? So when you look at like what intrigued me, right, as an executive, is that our TAM is 500 billion a year in potential revenues in the U.S. only. So if you look at
And
the number,
that's what sector? What is specifically?
that's residential. So if you look at the number of homes, and the statistic we use conservatively is 30 installations a home in terms of outlets, right? And you start counting hi-hats and sconces and outdoor lighting. We're talking in 30. We know the number is on the average more, but using 30 as an example, and you've got 140 million homes in the US, so you do that math, and then you say people move every 7 years, but let's say every 10 years, people are changing fixtures. That number is extraordinary. And then we haven't even gotten to build the commercial and new homes so it's or international, right? So it's an extraordinary number. And why we have the deals we've announced with the lighting companies like Quoizel and Kichler and Eglo out of Europe. Kichler is the largest U.S. Eglo is the largest in Europe. Quoizel is the oldest in the U.S. And our largest lighting manufacturer out of China, Rui. Why? What do they see? Well, what is it that they see? And they see that the velocity of their revenues, their turns on their sales are accelerated because the light becomes more of a fashion object. Honey, I'm tired of this light fixture. I'm tired of this fan. Oh, there's a new modern fan. I'm gonna just click in, click out. Something you could say, yeah, I can do that. It's not that big a
It's
deal.
funny that you say that to me because when I first started researching SKYX, I had somebody had said to me that the NEC will never do this, they'll never allow that to happen because they'll have a monopoly on the market. And I remember thinking, you know what, maybe there's a point there, right? So and then it was like the lighting industry specifically will not let this happen, right? And I said, okay. Then I meet the co-chair of the lighting industry, and I said, so I've been told that you guys, are totally against this thing. You'll never let this happen. He started laughing. He said, I don't know who the hell you've been talking to. He said, but this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened in our industry. And he said, not only does it design trends change every 5 years. He says the average light fixture stays in place in the ceiling for 10.
Yeah,
He said nobody wants to deal with it. He said, so if we have something where you can plug in, we anticipate that people will be switching out their light fixtures every 5 years.
exactly.
And then he said, and it opens up a whole new demographic to us. And that one threw me. I said, explain. He said, think about the 21 to 38-year-old male that moves into an apartment and there's, light fixture on the ceiling. He's never going to change out that light fixture, not unless he's an electrician, right?
Right.
But you have that receptacle up there, and he's a Trojan football fan. If he
Yeah.
wants to put up a Trojan football light,
Yep.
he can do it in seconds, right?
Yeah.
They've never had that demographic. That is a massive thing. right?
Yeah, kids' rooms, little girls, they want SpongeBob, then it's Barbie, then it's whatever, a girl band, and then they want to be, it's a PhD, out of Silicon Valley, female CEO. They can put whatever lighting fixture they want as they evolve as a people, right? And then
Yep.
and so you've got that ability and seasonal. We've seen our Christmas trees, people putting them up like a chandelier, in the ceiling and installing them for the holidays. We'll have, Halloween. You'll have the sports teams. It become a branded. It's a whole new category. But that's that'll evolve for us. It's just one example of everything we have. And by the way, a full line of products. Just beginning to land and fill out. And once we do that, one, besides the support of the insurance industry that we talk about, we've got all the surface mount, the hi-hats. We have global patents on all those, and they're all LED. So now with the hi-hats, and let's call it hotels and convention centers, we have thousands and thousands.
Yes.
Those are all LED. When they burn out, and they do burn, they're not forever, like they say. Some will have defects or there's a power surge. That those fixtures actually get thrown away because there's no bulb to change. It's just a chip. So all of ours has the release, the plug in the receptacle where you click in, you click out, put in a new, surface mount, hi-hat, recessed lighting. And that's, we've got those global patents, and those are in the billions of units, and those we're beginning to land now, along with, all the rest of the line. And by the way, exit signs that we developed, for commercial, and we've announced our first commercial installations starting, is the exit signs are all wired. Now, click out, click in. Those have to be inspected annually. The batteries have to be changed. Someone, maintenance guy can go up there, click in and click it out. You don't need the electrician. There's companies that all they do is they do the maintenance for exit signs. So it's, that's just one, more examples, like you said, of changing how you're changing the world.
What's funny is, I actually I took Chat GPT. I wrote up a
Mm-hmm.
booklet that's like 49 pages. And what I did was I went through every single industry and said, how could this product help this industry? Specific, right? The answers that I got were mind blowing. And this is what I'm saying. When people they do not understand how revolutionary this product is,
Yep.
they will. It's coming
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it I mean, for example, hospitals stop the spread of infectious disease or help slow the spread of infectious disease. And I'm thinking, how does that work? Well, you can control it for your voice or your mobile phone. You don't have to hit the light switch on the wall.
Right.
I mean, it's things like that.
Also, there's companies that have lights that kill bacteria. That's evolving. You have for assisted living, there's sensors now. It's not a camera, but a sensor that can detect in the room. It's if someone's on the floor lying, if it's four-legged, two-legged, so that's evolving, and we've got a lot more opportunity. And all I can say is no matter what it is, if it's technology that's not invented today, but let's just say 4 years from now, what will it need? It'll need unlimited electrical power coming from the middle of the ceiling that we own because it's our patents and our national electrical code provisions. We may have licensed it, but for anything smart that goes in either side that we control. And so we've got unlimited power for someone. We've got the best real estate location in a home or a building in the
Highest point,
center.
center of the room.
And we've got unbelievable real estate with a PCB board for circuitry. It's like 4 to 5 times the size, a space of an iPhone. So imagine, there could be third parties like Apple that we could license our all-in-one Generation 3 platform to. They can put their own stuff inside. But what do they need? We give them that location, we give them the power, and we give them unlimited space, and just our smoke and CO. There's a lot of know-how that went into that. But now you've got to replace your smoke detectors every 10 years. The sensors fail, and that's a pain in the ass. So what if you could click it in, click it out? So we know we're at the right place. I mean, this is why so many brilliant people have joined us. And you look at the association of what we have, with Governor Tom Ridge, who I mentioned, and Bob Nardelli, the former CEO of Home Depot, and Chrysler and GE Power Systems. And this isn't like, every once a year we talk to them. This is like daily. A lot of these guys, Al Weiss, former president of Disney, who handled all the Disney resorts. And in our first quarter of 24, she got on the phone. She spoke. Khadija Mustafa, who worked at Microsoft as for internet global sales and AI. She said that we have the best location for AI performance in a home or in a room, the best. Because we just look at even a Wi-Fi extender. Everyone has them plugged in on the side of the wall where the outlet is. But you put the Wi-Fi extender like we have in our Generation 3 that's coming, the performance is tripled. The range is doubled or tripled. So it's really incredible. And she said there is no hub for aggregate, because we're going to aggregate and collect data because we have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. There is no hub in a home for AI and data aggregation. You have Nest. You have, Ring doorbell. You may have your iPhone, which is, or Alexa, but there's nothing up there in the center of the ceiling that's like sitting there collecting all that stuff. So she really gets it, and she's, part of our advisory team as well. A lot of brilliant people, including the IT guys that are in Israel. A lot of them the highest military intelligence units that have worked on our cloud, our app, which is out and functioning, and it's unbelievable. All of our smart products, have their own key, their own location. We could do over air updates just like an Apple phone. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. And so we've been able to attract these guys, and Ronnie, a lot of them are guys that Ronnie educated, brought along, and they really have been unbelievable supporters in so many ways. The strategic investors that we just announced, this Lance Shaner from that led our
Marriott.
around the Marriott. He's got 60 Marriotts, 20 Hiltons. He's been a strategic investor for a while, and now led this last $11 million preferred round. And what does he know that we don't know? And he's got all these Marriotts. They all have to do a renovation every 7 years. Some are a little behind because of COVID, but they all have to renovate. And our solution is one that they're like, this is a no-brainer for us. And we've talked to other resorts, and they're like, this is unbelievable. We just did a reno. We're going to, when do we get samples? And no one's saying you're crazy. And we comply with everything, and FCC, and all the NEC, OSHA, whatever it is. It's something. And a lot of these hotels, they all want to go to smart, which we'll be equipped to do. Because they want the room smart. They want the lights to be able to go off. They want to be able to, manage it remotely. All the above. So it's pretty amazing, really.
I have actually often said that there are going to be things that will be created that we don't know about today. Somebody's gonna create them, and then we're gonna go, damn it, why didn't I think of that? But they're going to create things for this platform. There is
exactly
no question about that to me.
And everything's low power. So when we have a limited electrical power, we could feed so much low power off that device. I mean, really, that's not an issue for us. It's not an issue. It's pretty exciting. Someone said that owning SKYX now is like buying a bit, piece of or all of a Bitcoin 10 years ago. Everybody should have a little exposure in their portfolio for a SKYX. We're not talking about your kid's college fund or your retirement assets. We're talking about having a position and that because you're gonna see you're gonna be part of the movement and of what's happening. It makes so much sense, and it's something that in 5 years you'll look back, and 1 year we're gonna look back and we're gonna see what's happened,
Lenny,
with
the last
with this
place
company.
that you were the president and CEO was what was your role there?
My last place it was Newbridge Financial. We owned a full service broker dealer, Newbridge Securities, and Newbridge an RIA, Financial, and we had about total client assets of about 3 billion. We took companies public, and before that I started a company, a broker dealer, I was public. I merged with another public company, so I have a lot of experience besides the commercial, consumer product side of my background is in the financial services side. So I understood, the capital markets, and appreciate, the challenges and the need to communicate, and that's part of why I feel I could help, but more important, I have a team and a leader with Ronnie that is I vetted. It's something that based on my conservative background, what we're representing and what we have in place and the relationships, are all very substantial, extremely formidable, and very real. And it's not easy to change the world, in this tiny little way of how you install a light fixture in the ceiling or something smart or a sconce. It's not easy, and we're doing it, which is the exciting part. We
I
continue to
mean,
validate. I call it validation.
it's getting to this is why I'm so excited because, like you said, you have the outlet and you have the receptacle. That's the low. That's nothing. I mean, because
Yeah,
you've got all this other stuff now that is starting to hit, right? Inventory
yeah,
is starting to hit, and I've people. You can talk to them all you want. It's not until they see it, and you've seen this at CES, right? You were there at
right.
CES. When people actually see it, it's like all of a sudden, like, holy crap! I get it now, right? They cannot believe that you can switch out a ceiling fan in 17 seconds, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how fast it is. And it's like, that's it. I'm done. My project's done for the day, right? The way it is now, I better put aside 2, 3 hours, right? Because I don't know how long this is going to take. It literally is a 17-second process. And
right.
when you go through that, you're like, this is so cool. And then you just start thinking about party planners, interior designers, right? They are going to have so much fun with this thing
Yeah,
because you can change the entire feel of a room, right? From the lighting, the fixture itself, the whole feel of the room changes. And
yes,
there are going to be other things, cameras, whatever that you want to plug in. If you need power and you want to plug into the ceiling, it's going to be there and it's going to be simple. That's the
yep,
beautiful part. And it's going to be safe. Simple, safe, and smart. That is what this product does. And it's going to take the world by storm. I feel that 100%. I look at the team that Ronnie has assembled, and maybe people are, not or dissatisfied with how quickly this is evolving. But if you look at everything that Ronnie has accomplished and the team, I'm not just giving it all Ronnie.
yeah. No,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
everything that has been accomplished they're all very strategic, smart moves,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yes,
For long duration. These aren't, he's not looking to do a little, get a little fluff here and a little fluff there. He is building something that is going to last for generations.
yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah, it's 100%. And even the fan heater that he invented, which we have global patents for. So it's a smart fan that plugs in, but it also has a turbo heater underneath the fan. So it's the first time, and we got the approvals. It's in production that where you have a combined all season fan that cools in the summer and heats in the winter, and it's so no one's got it right. Number one. Number two is there's countries that don't have heat, that this is you eliminate the need for those floor heaters, those box heaters that cause fires.
Yep.
Baby blankets get dropped on them, who knows what. And here it's again all about safety. That was the priority. And so that one product alone is a global game changer. And again, you click it in, click it out, just like a fan, but all of a sudden you've got, a fan that's, quite extremely unique, you
You're an
know,
ESG play. I mean, whether ESG remains a thing or not, I don't know. New
right.
administration seems to be a little thing. But anyway, ESG without question, because if I put that thing in my room right now, I have to heat my entire house. I to heat my bedroom, right?
Yeah, that's right. And
If I
you could easily heat your room with that thing. And it's
exactly,
yeah, and it makes so much sense. The So it's one example of Ronnie's, creative inventions, and the fact that we invent things that have a global application. It's just not a small market. We're not Uber, and Uber is not in India because there's a Uber competitor in India, called something else. So we truly can be global, right? It's we have that ability. We work on the multiple different voltages. Everything is, developed already. So it really is compelling, and why, me as a conservative guy got involved. It's because I looked at it a lot, a long time. And,
you've
and
evaluated a lot of companies, right? I mean,
yeah, that's what I did. And and everyone's got an opinion about things, but I've never met anyone that didn't think this was a good idea. I haven't, right? You could argue about how quickly we'll ramp up and how this and how that, or, how many things will plug into it, but no one said it wasn't a brilliant idea. And so that's a good start, right? And we're beyond the start. We've got orders, we've got Home Depot relationship, we've got Wayfair relationship. These are very serious companies. They're looking at it because they understand the long-term play here. And with the
just signed an
largest lighting
industrial.
manufacturer,
You just signed an industrial supplier too, didn't you?
yes, we did. Electrical supplier. So we're trying to address all the channels and modular homes. That the opportunities there when we were at the International Builder Show last year. We were in every prefab modular home because just to have the receptacle in from the factory and then they get to the site and click in, they're lit up in 15 minutes. Those homes, smart and standard plugs. So we're pretty excited. We're very excited. Continue to be excited. This is huge. And the more important with the code team, we have Mark Early, who was the former, head of the National Electrical Code, chief engineer, former, head of the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association. After 33 years, he retired. 3 months later, where's he working and consulting? It's SKYX. And he signed our application along with Eric Jacobson, who was the former CEO of the American Lighting Association, who's done the most code changes for lighting. They signed our mandatory application. These are conservative, thoughtful, highly intelligent, brilliant guys. And so this speaks for itself. It does. It's a very intelligent business plan that we have, and we're executing. Is really what I could say. We're executing, and there
No,
will be significant growth, and just stay tuned. You
no,
know,
absolutely. Lenny, I'm so glad you decided to do this. You know, I everybody should know that Ronnie understands that he has one opportunity to get the first impression, right? He is fanatical about, he wants things to, he won't accept even the slightest, he wants it perfect. That's what he wants,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And that may be a fault of his, but I love that fault. I mean, I
Yeah.
really do, because he's right. You know, you get one shot at it, and he's going to wow people. I mean,
Yep.
not just him, but I mean, it is him. I mean, you know, he came up with his baby in his brain, and his brain moves very fast, and
That's right.
it's just going to be an amazing thing to see. He's going to positively impact so many industries and so many lives,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, 100%. And I believe that we have already, which is what we have installed and how it was installed. So it's just going to continue. So I'm excited. Well, yeah, Tim, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk on your platform,
Yep.
and on what you do, and I appreciate it, and your excitement as well. It's contagious.
Yeah.
So
All right, Letty, I thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys are busy as hell. I'll let you go, but we'll have you back at some point, right?
yeah, hopefully, I didn't burn the drapes down, so that's good. All right,
All right, Letty.
talk to
Thanks,
you.
man. Hold on one
Bye.
second. I'm going to shut this off.
Thank you for tuning in to another CEO interview here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Today we have Lenny Sokolow from SKYX Platforms, ticker symbol SKYX. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor, give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, make sure you smash that subscribe button. All of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Capital, and we appreciate you taking the time to do that. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Capital wishes you the very best of success.